I actually haven't been well recently. Oh, stop it, honestly, I don't want to talk about it. But if you insist, I really haven't, though, so that's why I'm delighted to get here today. I was rushed to A&E recently with terrible abdominal problems. Just hideous pains all up and down my tummy and around my sides. And I was rushed to A&E. And for about 3 hours, I thought, and anyone here who ever read a magazine as a teenager will know what I mean, especially the girls. I thought that I was about to have a surprise baby. Do you know the way there's those stories in the magazine going, well, everything was normal, nothing was different, everything was regular. Well, then I went to the toilet and I looked in the toilet and there was a baby in the toilet. And I had a surprise baby. There was always that, and that's when I thought it was. But you'll be happy to know that actually it was, I'm bringing sexy back, a gut infection. A gut infection. But the worst part of the whole situation was that the doctor in A&E was really, really handsome. And I think doctors who are handsome should be struck off. I really do. I wanted someone with a sort of mashed potato head that I could feel at one with. But instead, this man was really handsome. He said to me, what seems to be the problem? And I was like, well, doctor, my problem is that I'm too cute. Cheers me. I mean, how could I tell him that I thought I was having a surprise baby or else I was waiting for a poo? I mean, you couldn't, you know... And once we find out which one it is, do you want to go for a drink? It's really quite terrible. But by the way, you might notice that I talk quite fast. And if I'm honest, it's not really going to slow down too much, so you'll have to sort of jump on the Venga bus of enthusiasm and beep the horn with this one. I think that the reason I talk quite fast is because I was brought up in the countryside, in the deepest, darkest countryside, where there was no one for miles and miles around. Just this giant expanse of land with no one to talk to. And it was very, very lonely. You'd have no one to speak to during the day. I mean, a very backwards existence, lads. Like, our clothes are made of mud. Our hats were made of leaves. We had no access to things like pot noodles. We just had to sort of pour boiling water on top of birds' nests if we didn't feel like cooking one evening. A really backwards existence. And crows everywhere. Crows. In the city, there's pigeons everywhere, but in the countryside, there's crows everywhere. And it makes everything you do seem really ominous. You'd open the window and it'd be like, wah, 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 wah. Well, that seems a bit ominous. You know, you'd be standing innocently over a dead body in a field. Oh, God, this all seems a bit ominous. But the reason that I think I talk quite fast is because I'd have no one to talk to during the day. And so some days, the only person you'd have to talk to would be a passing car flying along the road. So you had to learn to talk fast if you wanted to talk to anyone. You'd be like, hi, how's it going? Oh my God, come back and talk to me. Do you like my new dress? Stay and be my friend. This sort of thing. Some days you'd be waiting for a tractor to come along, because you get more time out of a tractor, you see. You get to talk to them for longer. You'd be like, hi, how's it going? Do you like Sesame Street? I like Sesame Street. Oh, you do like Sesame Street. Sometimes I think Big Bird might not be a big bird, but he might just be a man in a suit. I know it sounds bad, but I have my suspicions. Goodbye, come back.
Here at the sink, right? And I've put a little thing here. It's like a bean tin, but it's got holes in it. So you put the cutlery in there, and it's all together then. You're not chasing it round, and the water comes out of the holes, so you just take it away, right? I watch them washing up, reach past this thing. They can see it. It's there. They would have to be blind in this eye and looking that way not to be able to see it. They travel the extra distance to lay the cutlery flat on the side. And I mean all the cutlery, including teaspoons. And not that way round. So that a little pool of shitty water dribbles down into the teaspoon so that it looks like it's already got soup in it. And then they'll walk over to the cutlery drawer, and all I ask, you just put the cutlery away however you like, as long as it's forks on the left, knives in the middle, spoons on the right. Teaspoons on the bottom, facing to the left, steak knives on the far left. You can't fit the steak knives in the ordinary knife rack, they're too long. It's just they have to go in there. Lovely, sexy steak knives they are. Sexy jet black handle and a long serrated knife. They'll be putting it away, and they'll put some away, right? They go, oh yeah, they're going there, don't they? And then they just think, oh, bored of this. Doing it right. I'm going to put this one in the knife rack. And then I'm going to take the paring knife, and I'm going to put the paring knife in there as if they look anything alike. Fat, horrible grey handle on the paring knife. No serration on the blade. Little fat, stubby blade. And I think, how have you done that? But the only consolation I get is it's okay, because that's the one I'm going to kill them with. I'm going to grab that knife and I'm going to sneak up to their room in the middle of the night. I'm going to go, hello, it's the fairy, and he's tooled up. I'm going to stab you now with this steak knife. You know, that's actually a paring knife. So you do know the difference! The reason that I need to be a better person is because I finally decided I think I want to have kids, right? It's taken me a long time. And what turned me was a really tiny thing. I watched a woman near where I live pushing a pram with two sort of toddler-age children in. And all I heard her say as she walked past, she went, well, cars aren't allowed to turn right all the time. Sometimes they have to go straight on. That was it. And I thought, my God, I want kids. Imagine being in the company of people to whom you could say a sentence that tedious, and their response will be, you blow my mind. So there's a road, but they're not allowed to turn into it. That is... So what, do they just move house to the end of the road then, do they? If you turn right twice, you'll end up back on that road. And why aren't you Prime Minister? I don't... You know everything. You're an incredible person. So I really want kids, but I can't have kids because I can't inflict myself on a child. Because I don't know what the line is between telling a child when it's doing something wrong so that it learns to do better and accepting that children can't do everything properly. I don't think I would draw that distinction. I think I would just always tell them that they were doing something wrong to the point of breaking their souls immediately. Oh, you're doing some colouring in, are you? Ah. I just wonder why you're carrying on with that, because you've got out of lines, haven't you? It's ruined. It's never going to be perfect now, is it? You might as well start again. Because it's not going on the fridge like that.
Tommy, did I get unlucky? What would be, I know you're a builder, not an electrician, but you can still answer this question. What would be your absolute record in a row for not turning up when you promised you would?
4.
4. God bless your honesty. Because my electrician, did I get unlucky? Because 14 times he didn't turn up when he promised he would, right? 14 times, incidentally, where I sat on my ass watching shit daytime television. No offence, Tommy, right? But... I sat on my ass twiddling my thumbs watching shit daytime television. Presumably he did exactly the same thing round at his house. But then he finally came, right? And this is, have you ever seen anything this incompetent, right? Because I'm 43, and I've sort of, I've travelled the world, I've seen a thing or two, but I have never seen anything this shit. I've never seen anything this incompetent in any area of life, right? Because this electrician came, and he fitted what do you call, double plug sockets. Yes. He fitted 15 of those, right? 15 of them, all around the lounge in the dining room. 13 of them, Tommy, are awesome. Awesome, some of the finest plug sockets you'll ever see in your life. Beautiful pieces of work. 2 of them, however, are upside pissing down, right? How is that even possible? How have you ever seen that? I've never seen an upside down plug set. Literally, the switches at the top, you push it in. Half the light switches are on the wrong way round as well, right? But I thought I can live with that. I was going to complain about that until I saw the plug sockets. I'll leave it go, right? Because it's not the end of the world. Some of them are on when they're up, some of them are on when they're down, or whatever. It's a bit inconvenient, but they all still work until you come to change a light bulb, and then it's Russian roulette, frankly, right? I let it go. I let the light switches go. We've all seen that before, right? But I'd never seen upside-down sockets, so I rang him, right? And the conversation I had with my electrician is in my anger management diary, right? This is the conversation with my electrician because he's put 2 plug sockets upside down in our lounge. I rang him, right? I rang him. I said, oh, this is a bit awkward, but you seem to have fitted 2 of the plug sockets upside down. Do you know what he said, Tommy? Are you sure? I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, let me just check. Oh, hang on, my girlfriend's just come in. Her head seems to be roughly the same height as mine. Her eyes are above her mouth, and when we drop things, they fall towards our feet. We seem to be the right way up, mate. This is a genuine question from my electrician, Tommy. A genuine question. Would you prefer them all the same way up, would you? I think I would. I'm sorry, I'm old school. What can I say? I can't help it. And he's always on the front foot. He's one of those people, you know, he'll never take a criticism, this guy, right? Because he's like, what do you want me to do about it? He's on the phone, what do you expect me to do about it? I said, well, it seems to me you've got two choices, right? One involves you popping back to the house and turning the two sockets round, right? And the other one involves you trying to persuade the entire world to start living upside down, doesn't it? But I should point out, if you do decide to go down that second route, it could actually involve a lot more work for you in the long run, right? Because once you've travelled the world spreading the topsy-turvy gospel according to St. Pissing Nutjob the Inverted, right? You'll have to bounce back here on your head and redo the 13 sockets you put on the right way down in the first place.
I wanted to tell you this because, as I'm saying, I am dating a lot of older guys, but I also realize, as much as I say that I am 40, I know I don't look 40, right? So I get a lot of guys who are talking to me who are like 27, 28, and I can't get over the fact that, like, when I was 18, you were 6. Like, I can't do that. It's so weird, right? But he's talking, he's like stepping up to me, and I'm like, I don't even get how this works. Like, if we hook up, do I have to drop you off at school tomorrow? Like, how does this work, right? So I'll get talked to by guys who are like younger, and I think that a lot of you don't realize how much some of us women mean business, okay? So here's what I need you to do. Like, men in your 20s, if you are ever in a position of talking to a woman who appears to be at least 30 years old, okay, and you are not available, all right, you got a wife, a partner, a girlfriend, a fiance, whatever it is you have, you are not available, you need to let us know, all right? In the first 5 minutes, you gotta bring that bitch up, all right? Just be like, my wife has a face as well. Like, whatever it is, just find a reason to bring her up, because yes, you will see the light of hope die in our eyes, but at least we'll know these are not the droids you're looking for, and we can move on, okay? Because we are not looking for friends, we're looking for partners. We are like sharks, we are on the move, all right? I was at a cast party for a show I was not in about a month ago, right? Because, like, basically, my friend had done this show, and she invited me to the party, and I was like, great, because I don't know any of these guys, but they're all coming down off of the high of finishing what they've done, and they're all gonna be depressed, and I'm gonna catch some sad dicks in my basket, yeah. I'm gonna get all these sad, crying dicks, yes, right? It's a perfect place to pick up new people, right? So I go to this cast party, and I'm talking to the sound guy, right, for the show. And I love sound guys. I depend on sound guys, but I love tech guys because they just get business done and don't make a fuss about it. They're like, yeah, you're welcome, bye. Like, I love that, right? So I was talking to the sound guy, right? And he was like cute and geeky. And I talked to this guy for 45 minutes about the video game The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I held my own in that nerd-ass conversation for 45 minutes. I stumbled all the way down memory lane with this guy. And I was pretty proud of myself. 45 minutes of this talk. And I'm like, you know what? I think we're vibing. Like, I'm gonna get his number. He's so cute. He's so funny. 45 minutes into this conversation, this guy goes, yeah, my wife always loved that game. And I was like, God damn it! Your wife? Your wife? I have ovulated in the middle of this conversation. Your wife owes me an egg. Go run and tell that bitch that. She owes me an egg. Right? She'll be mad at your ass too when she comes. She's like, why did you tell her that? Now I gotta give this bitch an egg.
I sort of feel like if you've got enough money, you can sort of just pay somebody to diagnose away your shit personality. And I consider that money well spent, by the way. I would recommend it to you. Prick. No. I actually have bipolar disorder. That's why I've ruined your birthday. Poor me, actually. Now I always thought there was a system. Like, adult ADHD has changed everything for me. I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought it was a childhood thing, but now there's adult ADHD, which has confused the whole process for me. I thought the process was that if you had a child who was shit, you would say that they had ADHD. And if that child who is shit grows up to be a shit adult, you would say that they had bipolar disorder. Footnote, I've been diagnosed with both, so don't write in, camera people. Anyway, a lot of people might suffer with mental illness, and that's, it's a pervasive phenomenon. A lot of you might have depression. That's your sort of garden variety mental illness. That's your standard fare. And if you do have depression, my advice to you and the community at large would just be to keep it in there. Bottle it up. Whatever you do, don't tell me about it, because I don't care. I don't care if you're depressed. I'm bored of it. I just don't want to hear about it. And I just can't be. And also, it's just not a good thing. If you have depression, don't tell me, because as somebody who suffers with depression, you should know how pervasive depression is, that many people suffer with depression. So if you tell me that you have depression, that might make me depressed. And that doesn't really feel like a problem halved, does it? It doesn't. It's not, I just don't tell me about it, Depression is an economy based on resource scarcity. And what we've done now is we've flooded the market with depression, and it's lost all of its value, and I don't care if you're depressed. Depression is currently in its Weimar Republic era of hyperinflation. And we're all wandering around with wheelbarrows full of depression going, would you look at all of this depression? And I'm there going, that's actually not as much depression as it looks like. That won't even get you a loaf of sympathy down the shops these days. My friend said to me recently, with the confidence of a man saying something new, that's lovely. He said, I just think we need to talk more about male mental health. Oh my God, how could there possibly be time to talk about it any more than we already do? We are talking. I know that we all have different perspectives, different cultural backgrounds. I can see you, or feel you rather, like moving away from me. Okay? Let's all keep lighthearted about this. I don't want to have to say only joking, given the context of what this is, okay?
I don't have a kid. I have a wife. That's a start, I suppose. I'm a very happily married man. I'm a man in love, actually. How many men here in love? A few of you. By the way, those of you who are here, any men who are here with women and you didn't react when I asked if you were in love, you have a very frosty journey home ahead of you. That's all I can tell you. That was a good show tonight, wasn't it? Did you not enjoy it? Well, I enjoyed it, but I was listening. You didn't seem to be listening. I was laughing. Well, the Irish guy asked you a direct question. Love is a funny thing. Being in love and falling in love are obviously two quite different things, aren't they? They both have their own merits. They both have their pros and their cons. Falling in love, for instance, is very exciting. I'll give you that. You never know what's going to happen next. Every time you see her, your heart beats faster. You touch her, you tingle, you can't get her out of your head. Falling in love, very exciting. And being in love is fine. So they both have their own merits, is what I'm trying to say there. You try and do things to keep the romance going, and if you're a bloke, that's your job. And if you're a woman, your job is to tell us if we're doing our job correctly. We try and do things to keep the romance going, but every now and again, ladies, you might do things that'll suck the romance back out again. Like ask us questions. Stop doing that. I don't mean questions like, where you been till now, who are you texting, what are you doing on the net at this hour? They're fair enough. I mean questions like, what are you thinking? Piss off with that question. What are you thinking? What is your obsession with what we're thinking? Can that be the one thing that remains exclusively mine? We share everything. The house, the bills, the friends. Can the content... No, I want that too. Come on. Why can't you women show us men the same courtesy and consideration we show you and not give a shit about what we're thinking? Why can't you do that? Because do you want to know the honest answer to that question? As soon as you say to your man, what are you thinking? Do you want to know what he's thinking? He's thinking, shit, better think of something to say, I've been thinking. That's what he's now thinking. Whatever he had been thinking before you asked that question, no matter how reasonable or innocent the thought was, it has gone now. scuttled off into the corner of his brain in a panic to make way for all the little men that are now running around his head going, what are we thinking? She's asking! Quick, give me something to make it good. Somebody, you, what do you have? What do you have? She won't believe that in a million years. Come on, lads! You. That's not even a real place, for Christ's sake! What do you have? That's your sister. What are you trying to do to us? And the reason we panic is because, you know, the truth won't do. The truth, 95% of the time, is the word nothing. That won't do at all, will it? What are you thinking about? Nothing. You can't be thinking nothing. You have to be thinking something. Everyone has to be thinking something. Ladies, you should never underestimate a man's ability to be completely and utterly vacant. Seriously.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's doing very, very good. Lost words she cannot pronounce. Lost words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. A difficult name. His name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this. Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen. She calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Jennifer, I know his name is my son. It is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how... My mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume. It's like this. Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. Let me just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go round an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Going on in my life, and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love the curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
Little request, if you know anybody who works for WhatsApp, just tell them to let us delete the message entirely. like it was never sent. Don't delete the message, but still write, Neil has deleted the message. Like a little telltale informer. So that your friend still texts you and goes, what was in that message that you deleted it? You know when it says delete for me or delete for everyone? Who picks? Just for me, and just go and delete it for me, yeah? Yeah, still want them to see the awful stuff I've written, but I don't want to be reminded of how much of a dick I can actually be, yeah. It's like getting a tattoo removed and walking into the laser place going, what are my options for tattoo removal? You got 2 options. First option, we shine a laser on your leg, remove the tattoo so no one will see the tattoo. What is my second option? We shine a laser in your eyes so you won't see the tattoo. I'll go for option number 2, please. Thank you very much. I bought a new phone. I fell for the ad. You can put the phone on somebody else's phone and you can wirelessly transfer the charge. And the company thinks people are going to use that. No one's going to use that. Your charge is the single most important thing in your life. Look at your friends. They would prefer to donate a kidney to a stranger than to give you 5% of their mobile phone charge. You ever been abroad? Yeah? You ever been abroad? You bring one adapter, one charge between you and your spouse. The UN level of negotiation involving getting the charger back from the person you love. Can I have the adapter, love? Can I have the charger? Can I have the adapter? Can I have the adapter? And they hit you with it. Absolutely, Neil. But what battery percentage do you have? And you look at the person you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with and you lie like a mofo, don't you? 3%, 2%, 0.5%. I've never even seen 0.5% in the mobile phone before, to be honest with you. Show me your phone, I'll plug it in for you. I can't show you my phone. Why can't you? I'm having an affair. How you hell having an affair? Show me your phone! We'll be in Spain. My wife will go and have a shower before we go out. She'll leave the bathroom door open and the shower door open. That is not an invitation to join her. You'll make that mistake once in your life, let me tell you that. It's because she doesn't trust you to not unplug her phone and plug your phone in. And she's right, because that's exactly what you do, isn't it? And you plug her phone back in towards the end, so you got plausible deniability. You plug out my phone. I did not plug out your phone. It went up by 2% after half an hour shower. That is because Spanish electricity is different. You plugged it in during the siesta and the wires were asleep. That's how it works here. If I talk to you in the front row, hope you know I'm just messing. You get great answers. I had a farmer at a gig once. I said, what do you do? He goes, I'm a sheep farmer. I said, I read recently sheep can recognise individual human faces. He went, well, as long as they can't give evidence, I should be okay. I had a South African man at a gig in Dublin once. I said, where are you from? Big blonde guy. He goes, Cape Town. I said, Cape Town is beautiful and warm and sunny. How did you end up in Dublin? He went, I got in the wrong container. The Irish guy, lovely fella, big guy, you know. Apparently we're going to be the most overweight country in Europe in a few years. And they tell us this like it's bad news. Oh, it's a catastrophe, it's a disaster. It's good news, ladies and gentlemen. Only 180 years after the worst famine in Western Europe. I call that a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. No one else has bounced back like we have. Those people in Pompeii just died. If they were Irish, they'd be selling lava lamps by now.
Romantic, that's my problem. I love romance. Oh, I want to be in a relationship. I want to try edible pants. You can't edible solo, they don't let you. I'm absolutely fascinated by them. Here's why. It must be someone's job to keep edible pants from being too delicious. Because they've got to be okay in context, but there's a team of scientists that's working day in, day out to make sure that none of us start craving them. Struggle being single. I'm a pick-me girl. Do you guys know what that is? A pick-me girl is a type of woman who's like me. I'm not like the other girls. Why? Because I like live music. Shackle me. I do like live music. Like sometimes I wonder if anyone's going to see the band Placebo thinking it was The Cure. So I do think about that stuff. Love live music. I went to see ABBA Voyage. Have you guys seen it? Voyage, if you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's ABBA, they've got holograms now. But just before going into ABBA Voyage, I found out a little bit of industry gossip, and I'm going to share it with you because I was pissed off. ABBA, the band, they're not even dead. And they've got holograms, is it? You can't have holograms if you're alive. Hey, ABBA, go to work. ABBA Voyage, it's amazing. From start to finish, it's them at their best. They were 28 years old when they recorded it. Start to finish, them at their best. A bit like this. So, ABBA Voyage, at the end of ABBA Voyage, sometimes the real ABBA, they come out. But the problem is that at this point in your life, you've only known them as hot 28-year-olds. So when 76-year-old ABBA comes out, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like them. It looks like their parents have come to pick them up. I am a pick-me girl. I lie about my interests constantly, I do. My new thing now is I pretend to like football. Now, I want to like football. I really do. I really respect it as a sport. My problem is too much of it has happened. And no one will let me catch up. Like, everyone needs to stop playing for like 5 years, and then I'll start casual, season 1, episode 1. Now, the real reason I'm trying to get into football is because, basically, I met this guy. Thank you. And, oh my God. So he told me that he could have Do you guys know him? That's weird. He does have a lot of friends. He said he could have gone professional. But then, and this is so sad, just before the trials, he didn't have the skills. He didn't have the skills, the work ethic, all the natural talent. So close.
Liverpool has a strange relationship with Manchester as well. Is anybody in from Liverpool? All right, thought we might have priced you out. Not to worry. I love Liverpool. It's a beautiful city. And I remember when I first went over there, I support Manchester City, right? That's my football team. And I remember going over there in my Manchester City shirt, and I stopped this bloke at the train station. I said, listen, mate, I'm a bit lost. I'm trying to find the docks. Can you help us out? And he turned around and he went... Which is a word in Liverpool, right? Honestly, right? It means you're not welcome, right? You pick it up quick enough, right? Eventually he got to some sound, he went, hey! Because they're naturally witty, they're born with that, right? He said, what are you doing over there in Liverpool? I love him. I do. Now, at that stage, you're tempted to say calm down, but that makes things worse, right? You don't like that. I was very brave, though. I looked in the eye and said, listen, I asked you for directions officer. You are bang out of order, mate. You can deal with it. But football, you know, has that problem, doesn't it? There's a lot of cities hate each other just because of the football. You know, I support City, and obviously Manchester United is our nearest club. And we've got any United fans in? Of course we have. We're in Hammersmith. There's always a United fan. Every gig I do, there's a United fan. They're like rats. You only ever 3 metres away from one of the bastards. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go is a red. I love football, but I'm getting to this stage where I'm starting to dislike footballers. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, right? But these like multi-millionaires running around the pitch, you know, every 5 minutes. I've hurt myself. There was a bloke a few weeks back, he missed 3 Premiership games with a dead leg, right? Now, that's not an injury, is it, a dead leg, right? When I was a kid, I had 3 dead legs in one day once, right? And that was for free. I still have to do PE and walk home. That's not an injury, mate. My granddad's favourite footballer was a German goalkeeper called Bert Trautmann, right? Now, in the 1956 FA Cup final, does anyone know what happened to old Bert? He broke his neck, look at you like the quiz team, bang, straight in, no messing about. Good work. He broke his neck and carried on playing, right? That's how hard they were in the 50s. The metatarsal, not even invented in 1956. He just got up, carried on diving about with a wobbly head, right? Not bothered. Not bothered. Not these days, it's... the fans keep shouting nasty things at us. Me up. It's right, isn't it? And I'm there in the crowd watching, thinking, do you know what? You're on 60 grand a week. If I think you're a knobhead, I'll tell you, right? And that's the way it should work, because if I was on that sort of money, I'd take it as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd stay an extra half hour at the end of the game just to take it. You're a knobhead? Yeah, I don't know. See you next week, lads. God bless. Yeah. Your mum's a knobhead, yeah, but you should see her house. See you later.
When I found out that I was going to do this gig, I immediately put together a message and I pinged it out on our family WhatsApp group to my husband and my children, because that is the kind of rock and roll comic I am. And my son, my teenage son, wrote back to me at once, and his message said, "Thug life chose you, brah." And I was like, oh shit, my child has joined a gang. I mean, what kind of language is this? Thug and bra, it had 2 R's, but he's a terrible speller. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing is I thought, this message is not for me. This idiot has sent me a message by mistake, which is for a gang member. What if the next message is something much worse? And that really bothered me because, well, this was my moment. I am going to Apollo. Like, if I'm going to find out you're a criminal, can we do it next month? So I wrote back to him in all caps, because as a good Indian mother, I mainly shout at my children. I wrote back, "This is your mom." And he wrote back, "I know, gigging like a boss." Thank you. A boss. Yeah, B-A-W-S-E, boss. And also, please do remember as you listen to the rest of my set this evening that I didn't choose it, but the thug life chose me. That's right. So I have kids. Of course you love your kids and it's difficult to raise them. Small kids are very easy, I find. The biggest downside of having a very small child is they are very boring. Yeah, they want to show you they love you by talking to you all the time, but everything they know, you already know. I mean, literally zero value add in any of those conversations. But you do it anyway because they're your kids, you know? And you know what people say, small kids, small problems, big kids, bigger problems. And the reason is that as your kids get older, you have to discipline them properly. And I find this very stressful because I'm born and raised in India. So what I consider robust, healthy, high-quality parental discipline is frowned upon in this part of the world. That's not true. It's illegal. I know because I have checked. And I want to have really well-behaved kids, but that is no use to me if I am in jail. So, I have to learn what you guys do here. And the big thing here is teach your kids about action and consequence using a multitude of techniques. So you have something called star chart. You know what star chart is? Yeah, no, let me tell you, sir. Star chart is you find something vaguely not negative that your child possibly might be able to do and then work it into the conversation and give them a star. Thank you for not kicking me in the face today. Here's a star. And then the other one, action and consequence, naughty step. You've been terribly behaved. Kindly go relax on the staircase.
So the winter's drawing in. It's over. The summer was over. We never even had a summer. It was so depressing. Nothing happened, except there was a lot of rain, a great deal of rain. More rain ever since records began. Yes. Not that we have any idea what that means. There was this strange period in history with no records at all. People would leave their homes and go, it feels slightly different to yesterday. Is anybody writing this down? And then after a period of time, somebody said, enough's enough, I will write this down. I would like to announce that records have begun. That first day must have been quite a record-breaking day, don't you think? It's the hottest, wettest, windiest day since records began! This morning, I've only just started. They said about the wind as well on the weather. Who cares about the wind? Could it be a stiff northeasterly breeze? I'm not sailing to work. I don't give a shit. People see that and go, I'll leave slightly later with a tailwind. I'll be there in half the time. Woo-hoo! Then the clocks are going to change. Nobody knows when the clocks are going to change. They change on a Saturday night. Nobody knows it's going to happen. Everybody the same every Saturday night, every year. They don't know which way or what's going on. You only find out about it late on Saturday night. You overhear somebody, excuse me, what was that? The clocks, they changed. When? Tonight? Oh! Darling, the clocks, which way? They go back. Is that the good one? Is that the good one? How many years do we need to be alive before we know when they change and which way? An extra hour! Woohoo! The only thing we can look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, in this winter is snow. It's the only thing that gets us through, because the weather's terrible, but snow is the holy grail. Nothing beats snow. And normally, we get one day of snow, and you've got to hope that it snows overnight, so you can be snowed in. Earlier this year, it snowed in the middle of the day. You don't want that. I was waiting for my bus, and where I live, there's no tube. You have to wait for the bus. The buses actually originate there. The bus is already there. So it's even more frustrating. I'm waiting for the driver. We've got everything we need. We're looking for people. Can you drive this thing? And that's when the snow came. Amazing, instantly landing snow. The best of snow. I mean, the most unbelievable snow. And then I realized, oh my God, I could get snowed out. This is not what I need. The driver shows up. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, due to the chaos on the roads, it's been snowing 8 seconds at this point. We're cancelling the bus. There will be no running of this service. And we're like, well, hang on a minute. We bought our tickets. What are we going to do? How are we supposed to get home? There's no way to get home. What are we going to do? And he said, don't shout at me. I actually live at the other end of this bus route. I take this bus home, and then I'm relieved by another driver. And we're like, well, this is a very interesting development. How are you going to get home? There's only one thing to do. Walk. It's the only way we can get home. It's the only way at all. I'm like, fine, okay. So we walked the bus route, led by the driver. We came to the first stop. We had to tell the people waiting, there's no bus. And they joined our imaginary bus. It was getting bigger and bigger. I looked behind us, I could see the next imaginary bus. Not a bus, just people walking. And it was catching up fast, because no one to pick up from the stops. And the driver saw this as well, and he turned around. He said, when we get to the next stop, don't tell them anything. Keep walking, they can get on the next one. I thought this was one of the funniest things that ever happened to me. I said to the woman walking next to me, I said, this is hilarious, we're on an imaginary bus. There's a driver, there are old people walking, and this is funny, right? And I thought we were on the same wavelength, but now I remember I was doing most of the talking, because she said, I'd love to chat, but this is my stop. She got down to an actual bus stop and then walked in the direction we had just come from.
This year, I did no lilt February. Thank you. I know, it sounds impossible, but you take it one day at a time. Did I have any today? No, you're a legend. It gets hard around the middle of the month, you get the cravings. It's called lilt guilt. You're like, oh, I bloody love the lilt. It's the night where you go to the shop at midnight, you kick the doors in, where's the lilt? And they're like, we don't stock it anymore. Like, ah! So you try and make your own hooch lilt, you know, you get a pineapple and a grapefruit, and you add in batteries and a horse's head, and you're like, it's good, but it's not totally tropical. Did that joke in America recently. Turns out they don't have lilt there. So, this is it. This is all I do. Imagine if this was your actual... I go like blah, 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 and you go, ah, ha, 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 money. I can't believe I get away with it. You do actual, proper London jobs. You know, like blacksmith, you know? Farrier. Brunch DJ. The big three. I tell you, I do not trust people who work in offices. I know, right? What are they doing? Nothing takes that long. They're planning something. They must be. Do you know? Do you ever call in to visit your friend in an office unexpectedly? Everyone just shits themselves. They're like, what's he doing here? Cover the screen, lie across the spreadsheet, get him out. Kind regards, warm regards, best. That's how they talk. Seen the email. Hey. I know what it's like in the real world. Look, sometimes I check in your world. Oh, gross, back to showbiz. And... No, I'm very self-aware of the level of fame that I have. I was in a supermarket recently, and an older lady came up to me, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she said, you are vaguely familiar. And that is it. I did a gig in Wrexham, and I was at an ATM machine, and a guy cycled by, and he shouted at me, surprised to see you at an ATM machine. And I've been obsessed with it since then. What did he mean? Like, on the one hand, is he surprised I don't have a butler to go to the ATM machine for? No, I think it's the opposite. I think I'm surprised you have any money whatsoever doing keyboard horse shit. Here's my greatest ever showbiz tale. I did a gig in your Milton Keynes recently, thank you, and I was staying in the Milton Keynes Hilton, and she is the least well-known of all the Hilton sisters. And I checked in after the gig at like 12:30. Room 303 is where this took place. Open the door, TV on in the room. Not that uncommon in the chain hotels. I guess it's to welcome you. But get this, on the TV is me playing the shitty keyboard on some show. Immediate thought is like, is this a service they provide to all guests? If so, no, it's the realization, this is it. I've arrived, and I waltz into the room, down the little corridor with the loo away to the left, and as the room opens out, there is a fully naked man lying on the bed. So they've given me the key to someone else's room, but he is lying there, watching me on the TV, and he looks up. To think of something smart. What I say is like, oh shit, sorry man. I could have said anything and I'd be a legend. I could have been like, oh, you enjoying this? Ah, no boner. And just walked out of it.
All of the time. You might be thinking, oh, she's hard of hearing. That's why she has that voice. No. I want you to know, no, I don't. It has nothing to do with the hard of hearingness. It's just an extra. Just a kiss on my forehead from God himself. Just an extra. I live with, this is my all the time voice. This is my sex voice. This is my sex voice. It is, I have sex, I go, oh, I love that. I go, oh, can you do that but slower? That's what I say. That's what I say. I say that during sex. I want you to know I do have sex. I want you to know that. I know if I say it, it makes it sound like I don't have sex, but I have sex. Okay, I have sex with people, and people have sex with me. And it's the truth. It's just what happened. I have sex. I just do. It took me a long time to get started having sex because I come from a Latin American mom. And my mom used to talk about my vagina every day, but only in metaphor. My mom, she'd say stuff like, she'd be like, Lara, nobody wants to buy a lock that can be opened by every key, Lara. She'd be like, Lara, nobody wants to buy an apple that's been bitten by someone else, Lara. Lara, if you give them sex too soon, they won't stay with you forever, Lara. That one's pretty straightforward, not really a metaphor, that last one. Pretty straight to the point, that's kind of what she meant with the whole thing. It took me a long time to get started because of that. And I live in the Netherlands, 6 years now I live there. It's great, it's good. I live now with my partner, an Argentinian guy, Fernando, okay. We live together, I love him. I brought him over, actually, from Argentina. We met in Argentina, and then I brought him over to live in the Netherlands on my back, me, him, and a donkey. It took 3 days and 3 nights, long and arduous, but we made it. We made it, now we live together there. It's good. I love him. He has no sense of smell. What a good disability to have in a partner, if I may. I mean, the best disability to have in a partner. Because as a partner, you can be nasty. You can. You can be as nasty as you want all of the time. Of course, not good to be nasty because then you have to live in the nasty as well. And that part you forget about. You forget. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I can fart while I eat. But then you have to eat in a fart, and no one wants, like, if you can choose to not eat in a fart, maybe better to just eat in clean air. You might be thinking, oh, but Lara, what about the sound, you deaf-ass bitch? Don't call me that. It offends my family. I actually will have you know, if you must, that my farts do not have sound. They don't. It's not a tree fell in the forest situation. I can't hear them. Joke's on me. Haha, no. My farts actually do not have any sound. They do not have any sound because I have what's called a butt cheek gap. You know about this? A BCG for short. It means my arse cheeks don't touch. They just don't touch each other. I have a gap. A gap between my... And we all know, famously, most of the sound from farts come from the stress of the air trying to get through the cheeks. You know about this. I Googled it, it's the truth. If the air is trying to get through, this is my impression of most people's farts. And this is my impression of my farts. Come straight out because I have a butt cheek gap, which means I can fart while I eat if I want to. I don't, but I want you to know that I can.
Sometimes people come up to me after shows and say, I don't like female comedians. They talk about sex too much. I say the reason why women comedians such as myself talk about sex all the time is because, well, sex is one of the few things men allow us to participate in. I am an identical twin. I know. I get asked, how do people tell you apart? And the answer is it's pretty easy, because I live in London and she's dead. No, relax, it's fine. She died at birth. Which I'm absolutely okay with, because that means I'll always be the pretty one. You'll be relieved to know that being American is not my only disability. I also have a very mild form of cerebral palsy. It's not a big deal. In Japanese, it's called no seishou ni mahi. Sounds very exotic. In French, it's called infirmité motrice cérébrale. It sounds much more expensive. I was going to learn how to say it in Russian, but Putin's not my president anymore, so... All it really means is I can't use the muscles on the right side of my body very well, even my face to a certain extent. God help the man hoping for a return on a left cheek kiss, because I will bite your face off. Mostly, though, it's my right arm and hand that I can't use. I can place most things in my hand and hold them. I can also give people the finger, if you're into that sort of thing. Just takes 20 minutes. And when I walk with a limp because I like big dicks if I can not. I do. My mom, she feels responsible for my disability because she is. No, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I love my mother very, very much. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be a comedian. But I would be able to use both hands. I moved to London 5 years ago, but I've been coming to the UK every summer for years and years before that, because I fucking love you guys. I do. I genuinely cannot get enough of you and your no-can-do spirit. Also, as a disabled person that can't drive, I've figured out that countries with obvious alcohol problems have pretty decent public transportation. And you people drink a lot. There's been a strike going on, and I'm still getting to gigs. That's how much you drink. We Americans, we don't drink as much as you. We physically can't. We're on too many opioids.
I'm used to my appearance provoking the full spectrum of facial reactions everywhere I show up, and you absolutely did not let me down. You were delighted, weren't you? You gave me some wonderful face when I came up here. You looked at me like your mother-in-law just cancelled dinner. I've been lucky enough to travel, and I'll never forget my first trip to Australia. I went to a place called Perth. I got off the plane. First person that saw me said the following. Hey, mate! Hey, mate! Why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? Huh. Hey, mate, why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? Now, this man opened the interaction with the words, hey, mate. Our eyes met, right? I was the mate. Case closed. Then he said, why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? I looked around, there was nobody else there. I was persons 1 and 2 in the rhetorical question. I've never met this man, and already, grammatically, I'm on the back foot. I wasn't going to put up with that. You would have been proud of me. You can't show any weakness. I summoned up every ounce of testosterone in my body, and I fired it ocularly at this chap. And I said, I think you'll find that this is a smoking jacket. Yeah, I showed the bugger. There's a lot that's not made sense, though, and one of the things that I still struggle with to this day is how uptight us Brits are. I didn't realise in the UK, how are you is a rhetorical question. How are you is a rhetorical question. If somebody from the UK asks you how you are and you tell them, they would be mortified. Now, there are geographical anomalies, I'm delighted to say. If you ask somebody from Liverpool how they are, they will tell you. 10 times out of 10, and I love them for that. Now, from personal experience, they oscillate wildly between two very distinctively different states. The first one is thus. How am I? I'm sound, mate. I'm buzzing. I'm having a belter. Do you know what? Work sound. Aaron Dawes is sound. Even our Anthony's being sound. Look at the weather, lad, cracking the flags. I love you, cadet. Apologies for the accent, by the way. I have the ability to blend in seamlessly with my environment wherever I go. I feel an energy, I match it, we become almost indistinguishable. Silly. Now, that's the first state. Now, the second state of Scouse being is rather different, and it is as follows. I'm fuming, lad. Oh, don't you start, lad. I am fuming here, mate. I'm fuming. I am fuming. I'm up the wall with work. I've seen me arse with my dad, Everton to being shite again. You're doing my fucking head in. I am fumigating naked.
You know toe rings? They are rings that we wear on our toes. Then we have rings, earrings, rings people wear in their ears, yeah? Eyebrow rings, nose rings, belly button rings. But these ones, rings. Because if these ones were called finger rings, make weddings pretty awkward. With this fingering, make proposal stories really awkward. Oh my God, so last night, John came over and out of nowhere just gave me the most incredible fingering. I know! I'm so happy. I mean, he asked my dad's permission first, obviously. Like, you go for it, son, you give her that fingering. And he came over, and he put down on one knee, and he said, darling, I want to give you this fingering. It's the same fingering that my grandfather gave to my grandmother. Also make Lord of the Fingerings, very different film. Okay. There is no one hearing that. Just keep learning. Life's about learning, guys. I will share with you another big thing I learned this year. Very exciting. I learned showering with a partner is not sexy. That does not seem like a big deal, but the world tells you it is sexy. But you try that shit once, and you very quickly discover that showering with a partner is not sexy. Showering with a partner is taking turns being cold. Oh, yeah. A lot of do-si-do action, a lot of, let's move around this way. Ooh, why? Because I'm goddamn freezing. I'm freezing. And a lot of kissing like this. But mainly, as I get older, I just keep finding out shit that I'm wrong about. Like, you grow up and you go, I know these things, I'm sure, and then wrong. The last time I was in your lovely country, I was on one of your lovely overland trains. You know, the ones that have the toilets with the electronic science fiction doors that go, wage, wage. Now, I was sure I knew how to lock those. Nah, turns out I know how to shut them, yeah. And 12-year-old boys on the other side know how to push the open button. And I don't know if you've ever been sat on the toilet when the door opens, but look, it's everything you dream it will be. And a little bit more. Now, the thing with those doors is they take quite a long time to open. So I was desperately trying to find the close button, eventually found the close button, but the thing is, as they take quite a long time to open, similarly, take quite a long time to close. So I got to maintain eye contact with an understandably horrified 12-year-old boy as his face was being very slowly covered. It was kind of like this. And it finally shut. I sat back down and went, oh my God, I am never wearing a jumpsuit again.
As much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. And some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now. Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. You want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. A real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Dam building, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, well, what was he like? Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. So they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? Seen a Tom Cruise film like he couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds. Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. So he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. So you're starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Until he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy until he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. You know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You're going to meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Until he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
That has done me the world of good. Thank you for that. Because I was waiting back there behind the big billboard, absolutely terrified. I'm not a natural performer. I'm not, although I have been doing this talk around the country for about 2 months now. I won't lie to you, it's not been going very well. I think the worst one was Folkestone. I have never seen an audience turn so quickly. Rushing at the stage, anger in their faces. Refund! Refund! It was horrific. I'll try and paint a picture for you. Youngsters will know what I'm talking about. Are there any youngsters in the... You can relax, sir. Well, there's a youngster. What is your name, sir?
Riyadh.
What's that?
Riyadh.
Riyadh. What?
Riyadh with a Z.
Riyadh with a Z. All right, it's not Sesame Street. Riyadh, how old are you?
18.
18? Shouldn't you be wearing a hooded top? Get out of my shopping centre! Riyadh. Don't laugh at Riyadh, please. You'll know what I mean, Riyadh, when I talk about stage diving. Are you familiar? You won't know what I'm talking about, sir, but this is when a rock star, like a Kurt Cobain or a Duncan from Blue, they run and they leap and you're right to be afraid. You're right to be afraid. They leap onto the audience, Riaz. It's terrifying. The audience grab hold of them and manhandle them. Turning them around like that, all over the place. Terrifying. Now, what happened at Folkestone was almost a complete reversal of that. with people just rushing at the stage. It was appalling. But I don't think we're going to have a repeat of that tonight. I don't. Because I'm already getting a lot of warmth from you. I am. To quote the great Darius Danesh, there's a lot of love in the room. There is. And a wide range. We've got Riaz with a Z. No one can take that away from you, Riaz. I wouldn't try to. You'd whip out your hooded top and you'd happy slap me into submission. But it's a friendly crowd. We've got a proper... Look, here we go. Right down in the front, there's a chap here wearing a T-shirt with a slogan on it. Unbelievable. A grown man. What is your name, sir?
Chris.
Chris, with a Z? Riaz, you're one up. You're ahead. I'll bet there aren't many other people in the whole building who have a Z in their name, in all honesty. Unless Zebedee's joined us tonight, which I think is unlikely. So you're a Chris.
Yes.
Chris. And what's the idea with the T-shirt, Chris? Is it Rag Week?
I was going to be a doctor. Got as far as A-level biology, and we had to cut open a rat. Remember that? You had to cut open a rat, and I discovered I couldn't stand the sight of blood or anything vaguely biological. So I had to switch it up. I was like, Mum, I had to tell my mum the doctor thing wasn't going to work out, but it was all right. I said, I'm going to be an engineer. And my mum was like, engineer? It is on the list? Okay. And then she turns to my younger brother, you will be the doctor. And that's how it ran in my family. She wasn't impressed when I decided to become a comedian. That conversation didn't go very well because I was an engineer. I worked as an engineer for years. I used to work for Otis, repairing lifts. That's what I did. And my mum was proud. Yes, my daughter, she's an engineer. And then I left that and decided to become a comedian. My mum was not impressed. She's like, comedy. Comedy? What the hell is comedy? I'm going to tell my friends in Nigeria. My daughter is a clown. But luckily for me, within 6 months of starting comedy, I got on this talent show called The Big Talent Show, hosted by Jonathan Ross. Got on this show. So I called my mum. I was like, Mama, I got through to this big talent show. It's going to be on TV. I'm through the quarterfinals. And my mum's like, oh, yeah, that's good. Very good. Interesting. Very good. Call me when you get to the final. I'm not interested in this quarterfinal, semi-final rubbish. Call me for the final. So sure enough, I got through to the final, filmed live on television, live. Jonathan Ross is hosting, and my mum comes down with her entourage, because my mum does not travel without a Nigerian entourage. So I do my set. Jonathan Ross is interviewing me after my set, and he sees my mum in the audience, which was not hard to spot. It was literally white people, and then a bank of African royalty just... So Jonathan points to my mum and he goes, is that your mum? That Gina's mum is in the audience. And I swear to God, my mum stood up like this. Yes, that is right. I am the reason the clown is here. I am the reason. I always knew she was going to be a clown. When she was 3, I bought her the big shoes. So my mum only comes out for the big shows. She only comes out for the big shows. And in fact, my mum is here tonight. Where's my mum? Where's my mum? Where's my mum over there? She's here. Where's your mum? Oh, look at her, standing up. Look at her, there she is. All right, you can sit down now, Mum. You can sit down now, Mum. This is my show, Mum. It's my show. It's my show.
I read this thing, right, online, so it must be true, where everyone who's under the age of 30 is going to live till 160. Like, you look tired now. 160? I don't want to be sat in a flat, leaking, liver spotted. Your ears and nose, they never stop growing. I'm going to be sat there looking like I work at bloody Gringotts Bank, just like... And I think if I get to 160, I'm ending it. I don't know how you do it. What are you going to do? Sort of suffocate yourself with a bag for life? I reckon the best way, and maybe like a toaster in a bath situation, but it'd be one of those like sit-down baths with a chair and a door, and then you have to wait for it all to fill up. You put in a bit of native for a last bit of luxury, and then you go, oh shit, I forgot the toaster, and then you have to wait for it all to drain. You open the door, you go out onto the landing, down a stair lift, into the kitchen, you go, what the bloody hell have I come in here for? It's never going to happen. I'm trying to do more nice things, though. That's what I'm trying to do. Because I've never really done anything with my life. I did a thing recently. I went to go and give blood for the first time. Has anyone ever done that? It's just one woman like, yeah, I did it today. It's amazing, but I thought you did it in like a hospital or like a sanitised medical centre. You don't. You do it in like a rugby club or like a methadone church, right? I turned up to this bingo hall near my nan's house, right? I was greeted by the second moodiest person I've ever seen in my life. It was a woman called Linda. Like, her name badge said Jean, but she looked like a Linda. Do you know what I mean? Like short bob, gelled fringe, good at darts. She weren't happy. I turned up, she goes, have you got an appointment? And I went, no. And she goes, have you filled out a form? And I went, no. And then she threw this form at me, and as I'm walking off, she goes, thank you very much for giving blood. We really appreciate it. Giving blood is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. And I'm thinking, Linda's never been given a slow cooker. So, take this form, I start filling it out. I had to use this woman's eyeliner because Linda wouldn't lend me a pen. Just filling it all out. And as I said, the only reason I went to go and give blood is make myself feel like I'd done something with my life. And instead, I'm faced with all these very serious adult questions. It was things like, have you ever been to Africa? And I'm like, no. And he goes, have you ever had sex with a man? And I'm like, no. And he goes, have you ever had sex with a prostitute? And I thought, I've done fucking nothing with my life. Nothing. Have you injected drugs? Have you smoked drugs? Have you had any treatments in the last 6 months? I panicked. I went, oh, well, me and my mum have had facials off Groupon. Not the right answer. Weirdest question, are you HIV positive? I was like, what? Like, no. Like, if anything, I'm against it. And then they took me off into this room, and there's all these sort of like Sharons and Johns lay on beds with sort of needles in their arms. Like, it looked like a spa day for smackheads. Put a belt round my arm, not even a nice belt. They spanked it a bit, they told me to relax, and then they whipped out the biggest flipping needle I've ever seen in my life, and I just fainted. Completely fainted. I can hear all these muffled voices, and then I can hear Linda's bellowing voice just going, I knew he'd be a fainter. I'm like... By the time I'd come around, all these people are trying to help me out, and Linda just parted them. And her way of trying to make me feel better, her way of trying to make me feel like a proper grown-up was going, would you like a glass of orange juice and a biscuit? I was like, no, Linda, I want to have sex with an African gay man for money. That's what I want to bloody do.
Do I get to travel with this job a lot, which I enjoy. I get recognised as well, which is a strange experience. It's not always from being on TV. Sometimes you just get recognised the next day if you've done a gig somewhere. Like I had this recently. I was up north, and I'd been doing some gigs. The next day, I was just in the hotel having my breakfast, and there was a couple in the corner, and I could see they kept looking at me. This couple must have been sort of in their 50s, and they kept looking over at me, and I was just having my breakfast. And as they got up to leave, they came past my table, and they stopped. And the lady said, can we just say, she went, you were amazing last night. I said, oh, wow, thank you so much. She was like, honestly, our cheeks are still hurting. I was like, wow, thank you. And her husband was like, we just love finding new people. And I was like, wow, thank you so much. And they walked away, and a few people turned to look at me, and I thought, oh, they're probably quite disappointed. They don't recognise me. They don't know who I am. And then I thought, no, that's not it at all, is it? It's because at no point during that interaction did anybody mention that I was a comedian. So all that happened was this couple approached me over a hotel breakfast and said, "You were amazing last night. Our cheeks are still hurting. We love finding new people." But of course, the issue is there. They're the people there. Of course, you can't tell from looking at me like I'm a comedian, because you can't just judge someone just by looking at them, can you? I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. But you can sometimes, can't you? You know, like, for example, if you see a man over 55 with a ponytail. You can make assumptions, can't you? Like, he's either a magician or he knows karate. You know one thing for sure, he's definitely divorced. Like, you shouldn't, but you can is my point. But of course, ultimately you can't, and you can't judge someone just by looking at them. Like, you wouldn't know, for example, you wouldn't know from looking at me that I've got epilepsy, would you? Because I haven't. No, I do, don't worry, it's fine, it's good news, I got it. In fact, fun fact for you, I had my first ever seizure during National Epileptic Week. Which was fitting. I'll tell you about the first seizure I ever had. Is that okay to do? Is that all right? Thank you. I know sometimes people get a bit funny if people start talking about health conditions. I know some people don't like to talk about their own health conditions. Like, I've got a friend called Paul. He's got psoriasis. Doesn't like to talk about it at all, and I'd rather just sweep under the carpet. So people in different... Some big fans of psoriasis stuff down here. There's more if you want it. Just scratching the surface. But no, we'll move on. It's one condition at a time. Yeah, sorry. The first seizure I ever had, it was my first year at university. I was in Topshop trying on a pair of jeans in Topshop. I had no idea that I had epilepsy. I just went in there to try on these jeans, fell to the floor, I had a seizure. I woke up, still in Topshop. I had no idea what was going on. I just woke up. There was this bright light and 3 women looking over me. I thought I was in heaven. And then one of them just went, "Excuse me." She went, "Do you know what day it is?" Now, I didn't know that was a thing. And I remember just thinking, can you not ask someone else? So to me, this woman had just walked into Topshop and just gone, "What day is it?" Oh, that's that guy there on the floor. The one who's bleeding from the mouth and appears to have wet himself in a pair of jeans that he'll be forced to pay for. Which is unacceptable. I was glad when they went under.
Whenever I talk about my Prosecco punch, there's always a very specific laugh in the audience. I've learned to recognise it. It's just over there tonight. It's this. And I know what it is now. That is the laugh of a thin yoga woman. And I know what the laugh means. The laugh is like, "That's funny, but I'd kill myself if I looked like you." But I promise you, there's advantages to having a Prosecco punch. Make some noise if you got one. 2 female a laugh for the bodies in the room. Don't be shy, lads. I can see you, it's quite well lit. Let's try that again, we're all being honest about ourselves. Give us a cheer if you got a Prosecco punch. Boys, boys, boys. The thing is, if you have a Prosecco punch, there are advantages to it, right? 2 main ones I can think of. Number 1, I don't want to be crude, but I can take some hammer. Yeah, it's true. I can give you a list of names that can attest to that as well. Not surnames. Now, the other thing is my Prosecco punch always gives me the greatest slice of joy, right? You know those 3 incredibly hot days we get that we pass off as the summer, right? I absolutely love those because that's when I get all my tanning done. I'm taking it very seriously. I go and get a chair from the kitchen. I go and put it slap bang in the middle of my garden, right? Because all the sun hits there. I've not got outdoor furniture. I'm not a Tory. So I pop it there. And then I get as naked as is legally possible. So I've got full spaniel's ears out. Smallest knickers I can find. You might be worrying about me now, because this is obviously filmed in London. I live in the countryside. I've not really got neighbours. I've got one lad who can see into my garden. He's depressed. He's not looking out his window for 3 weeks. We're fine, right? I also get very precious when I'm doing my tanning, right? Very precious. So what I'll do is I I roll my knickers down as small as I can get them because I'm like, I don't want tan lines, actually. I don't want tan lines. I got a bush like a badger, but I don't want tan lines. It's got TV. I don't want tan lines. I'm not allowed near cows. So I lie there, drinking it in, and as I lie there, think to myself, you know what? I am going to get up, and I am going to go to the freezer, and I am going to treat myself to a third Magnum of the day. Because I'm a special princess, and I do deserve it. Thank you. But all the people who are allowed ice cream up there in that one section. Lactose intolerant in the stalls. Closer to the toilets, it makes sense. So I'll decide I'm going to treat myself to that Magnum. And then I'll wait another 40 minutes till I can actually be asked to get up and get it. And then when I get up and get it, this is where my Prosecco porch really steps up. Because as I stand up, I will hear the sound of my own gunt peeling off the top of my own leg. Yeah, don't go, Don't pretend you're not turned on. It's embarrassing. It's an incredible noise. It's like this. That's my mating call. It is. I just see a row of bald heads along the fence like that. It's just divorced dads who are like, is that low self-esteem I can hear? Do you want to come to Pizza Hut and be a mum for 2 hours?
I sort of feel like if you've got enough money, you can sort of just pay somebody to diagnose away your shit personality. And I consider that money well spent, by the way. I would recommend it to you. Prick. No. I actually have bipolar disorder. That's why I've ruined your birthday. Poor me, actually. Now I always thought there was a system. Like, adult ADHD has changed everything for me. I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought it was a childhood thing, but now there's adult ADHD, which has confused the whole process for me. I thought the process was that if you had a child who was shit, you would say that they had ADHD. And if that child who is shit grows up to be a shit adult, you would say that they had bipolar disorder. Footnote, I've been diagnosed with both, so don't write in, camera people. Anyway, a lot of people might suffer with mental illness, and that's, it's a pervasive phenomenon. A lot of you might have depression. That's your sort of garden variety mental illness. That's your standard fare. And if you do have depression, my advice to you and the community at large would just be to keep it in there. Bottle it up. Whatever you do, don't tell me about it, because I don't care. I don't care if you're depressed. I'm bored of it. I just don't want to hear about it. And I just can't be. And also, it's just not a good thing. If you have depression, don't tell me. Because as somebody who suffers with depression, you should know how pervasive depression is, that many people suffer with depression. So if you tell me that you have depression, that might make me depressed. And that doesn't really feel like a problem halved, does it? It doesn't. It's not, just don't tell me about it, Depression is an economy based on resource scarcity. And what we've done now is we've flooded the market with depression, and it's lost all of its value, and I don't care if you're depressed. Depression is currently in its Weimar Republic era of hyperinflation. And we're all wandering around with wheelbarrows full of depression going, would you look at all of this depression? And I'm there going, that's actually not as much depression as it looks like. That won't even get you a loaf of sympathy down the shops these days. My friend said to me recently, with the confidence of a man saying something new, That's lovely. He said, I just think we need to talk more about male mental health. Oh my God, how could there possibly be time to talk about it any more than we already do? We are talking. I know that we all have different perspectives, different cultural backgrounds. I can see you, or feel you rather, like moving away from me. Okay? Let's all keep light-hearted about this. I don't want to have to say only joking, given the context of what this is.
Liverpool has a strange relationship with Manchester as well. Is anybody in from Liverpool? All right, thought we might have priced you out. Not to worry. I love Liverpool. It's a beautiful city. And I remember when I first went over there, I support Manchester City, right? That's my football team. And I remember going over there in my Manchester City shirt, and I stopped this bloke at the train station. I said, listen, mate, I'm a bit lost. I'm trying to find the docks. Can you help us out? And he turned around and he went... Which is a word in Liverpool, right? Honestly, right? It means you're not welcome, right? You pick it up quick enough, right? Eventually he got to some sound, he went, hey! Because they're naturally witty, they're born with that, right? He said, what are you doing over there in Liverpool? I love him. I do. Now, at that stage, you're tempted to say calm down, but that makes things worse, right? You don't like that. I was very brave, though. I looked in the eye and said, listen, I asked you for directions, officer. You are bang out of order, mate. Keep it down with it. But football, you know, has that problem, doesn't it? There's a lot of cities hate each other just because of the football. You know, I support City, and obviously Manchester United is our nearest club. And we got any United fans in? Of course we have. We're in Hammersmith. There's always a United fan. Every gig I do, there's a United fan. They're like rats. You're only ever 3 metres away from one of the bastards. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go is a red. I love football, but I'm getting to this stage where I'm starting to dislike footballers. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, right? But these like multi-millionaires running around the pitch, you know, every 5 minutes. I've hurt myself. There was a bloke a few weeks back, he missed 3 Premiership games with a dead leg, right? Now, that's not an injury, is it, a dead leg, right? When I was a kid, I had 3 dead legs in one day once, right? And that was for free. I still have to do PE and walk home. That's not an injury, mate. My granddad's favourite footballer was a German goalkeeper called Bert Trautmann, right? Now, in the 1956 FA Cup final, does anyone know what happened to old Bert? He broke his neck. Look at you like the quiz team. Bang, straight in, no messing about. He broke his neck and carried on playing, right? That's how hard they were in the 50s. The metatarsal, not even invented in 1956. He just got up, carried on diving about with a wobbly head, right? Not bothered. Not bothered. Not these days. It's the fans keep shouting nasty things at us. Me up. It's right, isn't it? And I'm there in the crowd watching, thinking, do you know what? You're on 60 grand a week. If I think you're a knobhead, I'll tell you, right? And that's the way it should work, because if I was on that sort of money, I'd take it as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd stay an extra half hour at the end of the game just to take it. You're a knobhead? Yeah, I don't know. See you next week, lads. God bless. Take care. Your mum's a knobhead. Yeah, but you should see her house. See you later. Who's the winner?
I love football. I love almost everything about football. There's one thing I don't like, and that is the sexism. Like, obviously, that's a little bit difficult. Because there's still a certain type of bloke that seems to think that, like, I can't know as much about football as he can, right? It's like he doesn't think I've got time to both watch Match of the Day and buy sanitary products. But the key thing about that is you stockpile in the summer. So you're ready for when the season starts in the winter. I love these guys, though. I call them the proper footballing geezers. You've probably seen them knocking around. They're big guys, massive fucking heads, big thick neck veins where they store all of their repressed emotions. Weirdly, they're always very active on Twitter for some reason. And they'll always have a Twitter handle which is like @MillwallMike69. And then you'll click onto their Twitter profile and their bio will always say something like, love my kids, hate nonces. And you're sort of thinking, come on, Mike, pick a side. I love these guys, though, because they've recently found me on social media. And what they love doing is they love doing sassy little snarky comments underneath my stand-up videos. And they do these sort of sick burns. And there's a phrase that I've sort of started noticing recently that they're all using. So what they've all said under my stand-up videos is this phrase. They say, Lewis Capaldi looks like he's let himself go. Which pisses me off, because Lewis Capaldi's already let himself go. I think what they're trying to do by comparing me to a plus-sized man is to imply that I'm ugly. It doesn't bother me as an insult. Honestly, it doesn't bother me as an insult. I know that I'm ugly. Not in a self-deprecating way, just in the way that all British people are ugly. Do you know this? You are absolutely vile. I'm sorry if you don't know this, you're absolutely vile, OK? And I didn't know this until recently when I started travelling outside of the UK in the last couple of years. Everything they say about us is true. Okay? But it's not your fault. The reason that we're ugly is because, and I'm specifically talking about white British people here, I don't want to draw anyone else into our ugly mess. The reason that we're ugly is because back in the day, the Vikings came over, stole all of our hot women, took them back to mainland Europe, which is why everyone in Sweden is smoking hot, and we look like someone put a wig on some Billy Bear ham. But it had an amazing reaction, because it meant that we had to develop great personalities. Because you never heard someone go, this is my Swedish friend, he's a laugh. So I would say that I'm British hot, which is ugly but a hoot. So I love football, as I say, and I kind of get these blokes that are a bit toxic, because football makes me toxic too. I do worry about my toxicity, though. Like, I've got a girlfriend now, and I don't let her watch me watch the football, because she saw me watch the football once, it almost ruined our relationship before it even started. So what happened was, she came into the living room, she said to me, Chloe, why are you laughing? And I had to explain that Chelsea had just gone 3-2 down, and the camera had panned to a crying child.
I hated teaching, and it's a brilliant, wonderful, noble profession, obviously, teaching. I hated it because I didn't want to do it. The only thing that got me through those years were children, because some of you parents will know, children are wonderful and weird. I used to teach a class in North London. You'll think I'm exaggerating this. I'm not. This is just one class I'm talking about. They were the strangest group of human beings I have ever seen assembled in one place, right? They were the strangest group of human beings ever in one. I include all of the series of Big Brother in that. Right, I'll talk you through some of them. There was a child called Marwood in that class, which isn't a real name, let's be honest. He was absolutely on a different planet to the rest of us. I'll prove it. I once said to him, Marwood, what are you going to do when you leave school? Straight away, he said, well, I'm going to be one of two things, sir. I'm going to be a gynecologist or a train driver. I said, they're rather contrasting professions, Marwood. This is only funny if you believe me, he wasn't trying to be funny at this point. He went, yeah, they are, aren't they, sir? I suppose at the end of the day, I just like tunnels. Fortunately, there was a child in that class that made up for all of them. Her name was Karen Powell. She was my favourite student of all time. She was 11 years of age, this big, and had two fascinating characteristics. Number one, her internal compass was buggered, right? So she was 10 minutes late to every single lesson, and the school wasn't that big. 10 minutes late. The second was, even though she was 11, she spoke, for reasons best known to our creator, like a repressed 1940s housewife. And you think I'm exaggerating this, I am not exaggerating it. She would come into my class like this, hello, sir, how are you today? I said, I'm fine, thanks, Karen, how are you? She goes, yes, I'm very well, thanks. I'm very much looking forward to today's improvisation. I'll give you an example of her compass. She came to see me after a lesson. This is all verbatim quote. She went, excuse me, sir, can I have a word with you, please? And of course you can, Karen. What's the problem?
Because I just wanted to say that I thought my performance in your lesson today was a little below par.
So really, I thought you were great.
No, I thought my use of characterization was paper thin. Thought the way I moved around the space was appalling. And my group work was something to be condemned. And I would like to offer you my most humble of apologies.
I said, you listen to me, Karen Powell. You never need to apologise to me. You are my favourite pupil because you make me laugh my head off. Now go outside and enjoy your lunchtime. You've deserved it.
She said, you know what? I think I will.
I turned round at that point to do a little bit of admin, ladies and gentlemen. Karen was then faced with a choice. She could leave my room via the only exit, or she could go into my costume cupboard. I don't know what happened, but for safety, I'll tell you this. I locked my costume cupboard before I went for my lunch, then I went away for a whole hour. When I came back, I opened the cupboard, and I swear to you, that child was standing with her back to me in a scene from the Diddy Man remake of the Blair Witch Project, just doing this. And I went, Karen? She went, hello, sir. I said, have you been in there for a whole hour? She said, I'm rather afraid I have. I said, oh my God, I am so sorry. She said, don't you apologise to me. I've only got myself to blame. I'll see you later.
But here's the thing about being married a very long time. You get to know each other so well, right? I mean, my husband knows me well. I know my husband so well at this point that we can have a full-blown argument from start to finish, and he's not even home. You know? So, this year, I have been married 21 years. Thank you. Thank you. I know it looks like I could have been a child bride, which, where I'm from, totally possible. Anyway, I wasn't a child bride. Anyway, so 21 years. And here's what I've learned in 21 years. That to stay married and stay happy, because it's not naturally the same thing, to stay married and stay happy, what you must do is keep your focus on what is important. Keep your focus on what is important. Let everything else fall away. See, I'll explain. The other day, my husband and I were having an argument, a face-to-face one, the one where he's actually at home. So we're having an argument, and, I say argument. The fact is, after 21 years, my husband and I don't really have arguments. We have throwdowns. You know, throwdown, like MMA level. Do you know what MMA is, sir? Yeah, marriage martial arts. Proper MMA, no matter what the topic, my husband and I both always bring it for everything. Because we know that after 21 years and 3 kids, nobody's fucking going anywhere. Right? We are just trying to get to the end of this somehow. And also, you should know, like I told you, when I arrived here, I got a UK passport. My husband is Scandinavian. He didn't bother. And then we were having this argument, and he was like, I don't understand why you didn't do it this way. And I said, really, what I don't understand is why you don't fuck off back where you came from. Apollo, I cannot lie to you. It felt pretty good. Oh my God, what a great phrase. I am totally on board with it now. Knock yourselves out. Such a good feeling it gives you afterwards, you know? The problem was it bothered our children a little bit because we were having lunch. It was Sunday. Our youngest child, she said, oh no, Mama said the F word. And I said, oh darling, you're right, I did. But you know what? When you grow up and meet the man of your dreams, so will you. And then my teenage son said something, but let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. Between 45 to 85% of what this child says, I don't understand. Because he's a teenager. He just looked at me and said, why so salty, bro? And then our middle child, apart from being somewhat fractured, she's also very woke. By which I mean she doesn't understand the difference between racism and a joke about racism. So she got very upset and she said, "You can't say that to Dad, that's racist." I said, "Racist? Look at my face. I can't be racist. Everybody knows only white people are racist." Oh, she got angry. She stomped out of the room. And I was like, "Oh, come on, darling. Sorry, it was a joke. I know you're half white. Oops."
I started learning French really young at the age of 8 or something in primary school, and our French teacher, to help it sink in our brains, used to play little games with us. And one of the games was that we had to draw a name out of the hat, and that would be our French name for the rest of term, yeah? So I withdrew Marcel, and she taught me that if anyone ever asked the question, "Comment tu t'appelles?" my response should be, "Je m'appelle Marcel," right? Now, I got all the way to degree level and 2 trips to Paris with that knowledge, and no one ever corrected me. And I went in on my first day of the lecture, and the professor goes, "Bonjour, comment tu t'appelles?" I thought, well, this is going to be a very easy course. I went, "Bonjour, je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" And I went, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" And I went, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" I went, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" I was like, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" I went, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" I went, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles?" And I went, "What is wrong with you? You said you were French." I went, "Je m'appelle Marcel." He's like, "No, comment tu t'appelles? What is your name?" I was like, "Je m'appelle Marcel. My name is Stephen." So educated. And as part of our course, yeah, we had to do a year abroad. Hold on. Gap year. We did, Jimmy. We had to do a year abroad, right? So I moved to the south of France for a year, and I'm dating myself with this reference, I do know. But I thought it would be like a Hilary Duff film, right? Do you know where I'd like move to the south of France, get a job in a little boulangerie, fall in love, move into the guy's chateau, and never have to come and perform in Hammersmith? Do you know what I mean? And me and my friends all had a bit of a dream. Like, my friend Kate, she's married to a guy now called Florent and lives in Nice. That was my dream, bitch. My friend Sam got with a guy while we were there, and his name was Nicolas. And I even got with a guy while we were there for one term, and his name was Kevin. It wasn't even Kevin. I went all the way to the south of France and found the only guy from Stockport. Just called me Sally Webster. And the thing I hated the most about doing that year abroad was I don't like flying. Give me a cheer if you like flying. Give me a cheer if you don't like it. Yeah, all the ones sat in the sky. I really hate it, yeah, because everyone's like it's the safest form of transport, but that's not true, is it? Because speak to someone that's been in a crash. And that is valid. That is really valid. And I've had to find my way of getting round it. You need hints, tricks, don't you? So my therapist said you just need to sit on the plane doing this. I get thrown off the plane if I do that, Julie. And the way I've been trying to get round it, hear me out, you're going to think I'm mad, right? Do you know sometimes when you look at someone and you think, like Aaron, I look at you and I go, you would never die in a plane crash. You've got that kind of face, you know, it's like, you're not going to go that way. Whereas some people, they've got that face where it's like, have you already been in one? And I flew to Dublin this year, and it was the best flight I'd ever had, right? Because I found someone like you, Aaron. I found someone. Peter Barlow from Coronation Street was on the flight, and I thought, Peter Barlow's not going to die in a Ryanair flight. He's already been through too much.
I'm from Glasgow. If I had to explain Glasgow to you, just be dour, negative bastards up there. John Logie Baird invented the TV, and when people came up to congratulate him, he went, "Aye, but there's fuck all on." We're looking forward to the Olympics in London. I'll take that as a no.
We're here to talk about relationships. Let's crack straight on with the first slide.
Making... Don't laugh at that. That's not meant to be funny, please. Let's not have another Folkestone on our hands, please. Making divorce work. Now, given that it is a rocky ride, an emotional roller coaster, I start off with a joke, ladies and gentlemen, just to loosen us up. Here it is. If you're going to get divorced, you have to be like the man in the toll booth. Why is that, Keith? Well, you have to be willing to accept, this is the joke, change. It's a zinger. When you divorce, there is sweeping change. Changes right across your life, in every area. One of the first things to change is the locks. You may please don't laugh at that, please. You may come home one day and find that your key no longer fits your wife's lock. Another man's key is fitting your wife's lock. And stop it! Stop, I'm stamping on that. Riaz with a Z, please. Stop it. It's not that sort of a show. Well, I mean, it's not a show, is it? It's a talk. But it's not smutty. So you may come home and find that your key no longer fits the lock. Good. Yes, it can. And it can be very difficult to tell why a relationship is going to go wrong. Why is that? Well, I think it's because at the beginning of any relationship, when two people get together, there's always a sense of what? Hammersmith, at the beginning of a relationship, a sense of... Pardon? Worry. No. Anyone else? At the beginning of a relationship, a sense of... Foreboding. Foreboding is the wrong answer. Lust, no. Uncertainty. There's always a sense of uncertainty. A feeling of will they, won't they? And there's no way of... Please, Hammersmith, take it seriously. We're talking about emotions. A sense of will they, won't they? And there's no... Hammersmith, I will walk off the stage, please. There's no way of predicting when a couple get together whether or not the relationship will work. Will it last a long time? No. Not a chance in hell. Will they stick together? No. Will the marriage endure? Yes. Lee and Leslie. Now, Lee and Leslie are a lesson to us all. They've made a marriage work. So why is it then that when they can make a marriage work, so many others can't? Paul Simon said, there are 50 ways to leave your lover. 1. Hammersmith, time out. Please, start to take it seriously. 1. Slip out the back, Jack. 2. Make a new plan, Stan. And 48 others.
I was in France a couple of years ago. Had to stop to use the loo at a little service station by the road. I knew it wasn't going to be a 5-star experience from the moment I walked in there. The lady in the kiosk was eating a pig's trotter with her one remaining tooth. Watching a chipmunk try to eat a piece of corn on the cob. I approached her, and of course, as a proud Remainer, I said to her in my best French, Où est le bug? She went, it's round the back. It is round the back. So I went round the back, and there it was, a little shed. I thought, here we go. And I opened the door. Voila! Squatty potty! Throw up, France. Anyway, there was nowhere else to go, so I had to go in. I had to use it. So I went in, and I closed the door. And it was brilliant because somebody had attached a rope to the back of the door. So you could essentially abseil down into the squatting. is a Centre Parks activity right there, isn't it? You pay for that. Bungee jump, brilliant. I did notice I was getting a little bit more nervous as a traveller on recent flights I've taken. In your 20s, you don't care, do you? Like that, I'll live forever. I'll live forever, me. I'm going to live forever. As you get older, you start to really pay attention to the safety announcements on planes. It becomes more urgent. You're more aware of your own mortality. You know, they'll start the announcement. I will definitely pay attention, absolutely pay attention. The glasses go on, the headphones come off. Book goes down, notebook comes up. I'm like, oh. Last flight I was on, it got to that point, we've all heard it 1,000 times. We've all heard it 1,000 times. They put the little life jacket on, right? Put the little life jacket on, and she said, and of course, in the event of landing on water, there is a whistle to attract attention. In the event of landing on water, there is a whistle. A whistle to attract attention. Now, I think for the first time in my life, I really took in that whistle. The fabric of that whistle, if you will, the being of that whistle, the ergonomics of that whistle. There is a whistle to attract attention. My brain had the very helpful thought. It thought, well, if we have landed on water, we have essentially fallen out of the sky from 30 to 40,000 feet in a not insignificant metal tube that may or may not be on fire. If that hasn't attracted attention, if everybody in the surrounding area has managed not to notice, and you are then reliant on... I got this.
So I came to Britain in the early 80s. We were refugees long before it became fashionable. But my favourite immigrants are Polish people because they've properly confused old-fashioned racists. Have you seen them? They don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we say? They're immigrants, but they're white. I heard this one bloke go, bloody Poles coming over here with their work ethic. Which isn't very politically correct, and I try so hard to be politically correct. Sometimes I take it too far. I was at a party recently and I said to my friend, have you met Steve? He's a really nice guy. My friend goes, which one's Steve? Steve was the only black guy in the room. I found myself going, Steve, yeah, he's over there. He's got blue jeans on, a grey T-shirt, sort of curly hair, and a Nigerian accent. And once I was performing at a comedy club and there was two black guys in the front row, like you two, but men and black. You are a man, sir, I'm sorry. It's the lights. And I said to them, so how do you two know each other? And they looked at each other and went, we don't. Might as well have had NF tattooed on my forehead. I didn't, it was felt tip. I like friendly, a little bit of friendly racism is nice. When I was a little girl, I used to always go to my friend Katie's house, and every time her dad opened the door, he'd go, hello, Shappy, you've been on holiday? So, I have a little boy, I have a baby boy, I'm a mum, and I'm looking at you, some of you are so young, I could be your mummy if I lived somewhere rural. Like a lot of women, I got to my 30s and I thought, I've got to have a baby now. Well, my mum's still young enough to look after it for me. And I went to all the antenatal classes, and this woman came up to me, one of the other mums goes, oh, how are you planning on losing your baby weight? And I was like, well, I was just thinking of having the child. And she was like, oh, I'm going to be a yummy mummy. I'm going to lose all my yummy mummy. That's just like a middle-class way of saying MILF. I was so happy when I found out that I was pregnant. And we had a scan and we knew that it was a boy. And people said to me, why did you find out the sex of your baby? Didn't you want a surprise? Well, it's going to be a boy or a girl, do you know what I mean? The only surprise would have been if it was a puppy. And there are no puppies in my family. There's one goat. It's not a blood relation. Thank goodness I have a child now. It was no fun being a broody Iranian woman. Every time I said to people, my body clock's ticking, they'd hit the ground. So with all that going on, when I did find out I was pregnant, I was so delighted. I thought, I am going to fill this child's life up with love and hope and understanding. My husband's reaction was slightly different. He walked around going, woohoo, my soldiers worked! Easy. It's not his. Oh, the fuss he made when he found out I was cheating on him. Only child. Can't share. My husband's English, he's from Nottingham, and a lot of people ask me if my husband's Iranian. And I go, well, he's not, he's English, but he's planning to convert. His family are absolutely lovely, and when they first met me, they kept going, oh, Shappy's so exotic, she's so exotic, which means foreign, but not in a way that we hate.
I think often a lot of people don't realise there's an actual person behind somebody's disability. And I experienced this, right, firsthand when I got lost in a park in Glasgow. I came off the path. I was in the bushes. Like, looking like a proper creepy weirdo. And I heard this guy aggressively running over at me, shouting, "Oi, you!" And I turned to face him. And he stopped dead in his tracks, went, "Oh, sorry, pal. Didn't see the stick. Thought you were a pest." You do know that's a pig guy. Yes. People only see my disability. I should see how much I can get away with. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much of a blind wronging can I be? Just go into a supermarket, blatantly shoplift a coat. I get busted trying to leave through the plate glass window again. Security guard. "Excuse me, sir, is that your coat?" "Yes, do you mind taking the security tag off it?" "Certainly, sir. Can I just see your receipt?" Right. Big innocent face. Hand him a blank bit of bog roll. I bet he's not got the heart to say anything apart from, "Right, that's fine, have a nice day." But I still maintain, no, it is an excellent time to be disabled. In fact, now, in some areas, too good. To the point, I'd like to finish this evening by asking you lovely people of the Apollo a favour. Could you please stop modifying sport so I can take part? It's now getting harder and harder to moan about being excluded when I am always being made to feel so very welcome. Not everything has to be accessible. There's a message. Being blind is a brilliant reason not to have to do something. Because this guy asked me if I wanted to take part in a game of football. You cheeky bastard. Oh, I'm going to guilt trip you, my friend. I'd love to take part in a game of football, yes, but I just don't think the blind man's that welcome in the hallowed turf. Not realising blind football is an established sport. What sick prick came up with that? 22 blind lads running like fuck at each other. They're trying to kick a ball with a bell in it. Guys, that's not accessible. That's a blood sport. And who goes to see it? I did. I played my part. I took part in one game. Yeah, they put me in goals. But I learned one thing. Like, in flight, a ball with a bell in it is silent.
But I think women should just let it out. It's a big day in a girl's life when she can freely let rip in front of her bloke. It is. I think women should be having I farted in front of my boyfriend for the first time parties. I do. I think they should be ringing up their mums, just going, Mum, I've got something to tell you. Oh, darling, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? I just did a fart in front of Tom. Oh, darling, that's wonderful news, wonderful news. And what did he say? He didn't say anything. He just laughed and farted back. My little girl's all grown up. Meanwhile, Dad will be in the background just going, women are farting far too early in front of their boyfriends these days. It was 18 months before your mother even trumped in my direction. 6 months before she'd take a dump in the house when I was around. Yes. And also, I'll tell you something else we pretend as well. We keep the old, the lady garden quite tidy, us girls, don't we, in the early stages? We all do little tricks with it. Look, it's the strip, it's the Brazilian. Oh, look, I put a hat on it, it's the Mexican. Like we do. We do all that in the early stages, and then after about a year, it looks like the back of the wardrobe that leads to Narnia. Well, if he wants it, he's going to have to work for it. People say to me, Andy, you could try meeting people in a nightclub. You'll never meet anyone good in a nightclub because the nightclub environment is designed to have us make bad decisions. It is because it's dark, you can't see, you can't hear. You know what? If nightclubs want to be responsible, what they should do to help us out is just before the exit, they should have a brightly lit room where you can check out the person you're leaving with. Yes, they should. They should call it, have a sodding word with yourself lounge. And you would literally get women in there just going, oh my God, you're wearing a fleece. I couldn't tell because it's so dark in there. Okay, nice to meet you. But listen, if you meet somebody online, what I'm going to say is there's some safety things to take into consideration. Now, I met somebody through Twitter, just the once. I'll never do it again. And it was the most irresponsible thing I think I've ever done. And I spoke to a friend about it before we met up, and I said, listen, I've met this guy, and we seem to really like each other, and we're talking about meeting up. What do you reckon? Should I meet him? And before my mate even had a chance to say anything, I said, you know what? I am going to meet this guy. You know why? Because life's too short. And my mate just went, yeah, you're going to find out how short. And my mum says, she says, look, if you go on these dates, make sure you meet in a public place, okay? And I'm just going to add something to that. Public place, brill. Public house, excellent. Public toilet. Never meet in a public toilet. No good can come of it. Unless it's, you know them space-age toilets that they have outside, where you put the money in, press the button, and then the door opens. You know why? Because you can pretend it's blind date. How cool is that? You just put the money in, press the button. And if you don't like it, just press the button really quickly. I don't know why, like, young couples, new couples, have got this obsession with finding out how many people someone's been out with from before. Like, how many previous partners? This is a lose-lose situation, right? And if any of you have ever had that conversation or you think it's ever going to come up, this is what I say. This is what you should say, okay? Just say to the person that's asked you, you want to know how many previous partners? Okay, I'll tell you from the beginning, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, you, 6, 7...
One of the major good things that's come out of it is how we've embraced new technology, isn't it? Because it's just unbelievable. Who knew what Zoom was 2 years ago? None of us. Like last week, I had to do a speed awareness course online. Now, you should be doing that on something called Zoom, but that's the world we're in now. It's the world we're in. I've got a phone that can recognise my face. That already makes it better than my nan. Come on! I embrace new technology. I do, because could you imagine if this pandemic had happened like 30 years ago? No internet, no Zoom, no Pornhub. I don't know why I looked at you, sir, but I did. Because I think we've forgotten, here in 2021, we've forgotten what really being bored feels like. Like proper proper bored. My friend's little boy said the other day he gets bored waiting for an app to load. Fuck off, mate. That is not boredom, is it? I'm talking Sunday afternoon in the 80s. That was boredom. When it was raining, you'd read every book in the house. I grew up in Maidstone. That's a Mills and Boon and an Argos catalogue. Your mum's watching something black and white on the only telly in the house, so you listen to your Walkman for a bit, but the batteries are dying, so Madonna's Like a Virgin sounds like Barry White singing it. You know? You can't go and buy more batteries, can you? You can't, because all the shops are shut. And I mean, all the shops are shut, even the petrol stations are shut, and then when you think your day can't get any more tedious, your dad would go, get in the car, everyone, we're going to go and visit someone. That's what we do, isn't it? On a Sunday afternoon in the 80s, we would visit people for no reason other than to ruin their day. Do you know what? Young people don't believe this when you tell them. We never told them we were coming. Could you imagine doing that to someone today? They'd be livid, wouldn't they? We used to spend every Sunday with people wishing that they'd hoovered and we'd fuck off, didn't we? Aren't they? The only people who phoned ahead in the 1980s were the IRA. Fact. I wouldn't be a teenager now, though, would you? I wouldn't be a teenager now. When I think of the things I did when I was a teenager, the thought of that being on the internet forever, it makes me feel physically sick. It does. The way they have to communicate with each other is something I just can't understand. You know, sexting. I couldn't write a sext. I don't know what to put in a birthday card. When I was a teenager, if I wanted to leave a sexy message for a boy, I'd have to ring his landline and leave a message with his mum. Into what, dear? All over your what? Different times, isn't it? Different times. There was a boy I fancied at school. I couldn't text him to write him a note, stick it in his school bag. And I'd make him a mixtape. Write him a poem. That's all we had, didn't we? I genuinely think a 14-year-old girl today, she would be more freaked out if you sent her a poem than if you sent her a picture of your knob. A poem would freak her out more. She'd be with her friends going, I mean, it was like a song, but it wasn't a song. And there was no cock in it. Not even a bollock, no. Different times, you know. Different. Apparently, young people today, they're most likely now to have their very first sexual experience online. Via FaceTime or Skype. They're not even in the same room. You've got one teenager in this house on their phone and the other teenager in this house on their phone, and that's how they're having their first sexual experience. And I just think, do you know what? Getting fingered behind a caravan at a fairground is not ideal. But at least I was getting some fresh air.
My parents are disappointed I didn't get married because, like I said, I'm Egyptian. I'm in my 40s, so I was supposed to be married 30 years ago. So they're like, tick-tock. When's this happening? But they don't understand dating. My parents didn't date. They were in arranged marriage. They met on The Bachelor season 3, I think. They don't get that joke or anything I do, but I was supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, which is pretty typical for Arabs, actually. Like, I went to Palestine once to do comedy there because that's what that region needs, just dick jokes. So thought I'd help. And after the show, there was a Q&A, and somebody in the audience was like, why did you decide to become a comedian? And as a joke, I was like, oh, I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor. But they didn't get it. They were like, oh, I'm sorry. Maybe if you study harder, you can do it. I was like, yeah, definitely. This is a lifelong dream. That's all right. My dad thinks I'm his responsibility until I'm my husband's responsibility. But at no point am I to be my own responsibility, right? Like, the women in my culture need a chaperone through life. Like, we just don't have the same rights as the men. Because my dad wanted to move from Cairo to America, so he just moved. You're a man, bye. Right? My mom wanted to move from Cairo to America, and they were like, well, let's find you a husband in America. And that's how they met. 3 of my aunts became nuns. That's a lot of nuns for one family. And I was like, Mom, why did all your sisters become nuns? She was like, because they didn't want to get married. And then she caught herself. She's like, because they love God. I was like, no, I knew it. They saw their options. Meet Samir. He doesn't know how to do his own laundry, and he has hummus in his beard right now. You can have sex with him every night or meet God. The only thing you have to do on your knees is pray. And they were like, yep, God, that's perfect. Thank you. I love being in London because it's so close to the rest of Europe. I love to travel. I go to Paris. Tell my American friends I'm going to Paris. They get so excited for me. They're like, oh my God, Paris, we love that for you. We love Amelie. And I tell people here I'm going to Paris. You don't give a shit at all. All you ever say when I say I'm going there is, oh, cool, how are you getting there? Are you taking the train? Oh, the train's so great. You're going to love the train. Like, cool. Every time. How are you getting there? You taking the train? Oh, the train is so great. Like, so is Paris. Why can't I talk about Paris? What? I'm going to go to cafes and museums. I'm going to see Jim Morrison's grave. And you're like, that's cool. How are you getting home, though? Are you taking the train? Train's so great. Like, it's a good train. Relax. It's good to vomit on. And last time I was there, this Parisian man walks right up to me. He was like, you have fire. This is why I love the French. What a thing to say to a stranger. You have fire? Yeah, you're damn right I have fire, sir. Right? I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm a comedian. He didn't know any of this, but he must have just seen something in me, like my aura, and he had to come up and be like, you have fire. Turns out he was just looking for a lighter.
Cable was the more middle-class option. Yes, no, we don't want a satellite dish sticking out the side of our house. No, thank you. I think it looks really quite naff, yeah. Whereas the working class, the satellite dish was the key selling point. If you're paying £25 a month, you want your neighbours to know that you are better than them. And we had Sky through a dish, 1997. You could be watching old school Sky in the living room, watching it on the main TV, but you could also go upstairs to the bedroom TVs, turn to a certain channel and watch Sky in the bedroom, but only with the person in the living room was watching. I don't know the intrinsic technical explanation as to why this happened, but it just did. Saturday nights, me and my dad, I'm on the couch, he's in his chair, my mum's in bed, my brother's out with his pals, just me and the old man watching Match of the Day, watching the highlights. It gets to the kind of shite games, and I say, right, I think I'm going to go to bed, Dad. Good night. And he would continue the charade, and he'd say, are you off to bed, son? Good night. And there was that mutual father and son, we both know what the plan is here. I would casually exit the living room nice and slowly. Good night. Hit the hallway and race up the stairs. Don't even consider looking in the fridge. Eyes on the prize. Upstairs, bedroom TV switched on. Go to number 6. That's when you see what he's watching. TVs are synchronised. 6, we're in. He's in control. A few minutes go by and he's still watching Match of the Day. That's fine. Well, he must be giving it a few minutes. Don't want to make it too obvious. He's done this before. 5 minutes go by. He's still watching Match of the Day. I'm thinking, come on, stick to the plan, Andy. I'm looking at the bottom left of the screen, waiting for the numbers to get typed in. The numbers that could make or break the evening's entertainment. Give me your numbers, Andy, come on. 9! That's a good start, 9. Could not have hoped for a better start than a 9 there. 0, 5, the 10-minute free view. You're a dirty bastard, Dad, but I love you. So, we've got some celebrities in, as always. Live at the Apollo, who have we got? We've got the EastEnders cast. How are we doing, EastEnders? They're sitting right at the back. I don't mean the extras, I mean the real people. We're trying to get Phil Mitchell. No, where is he? He's up at King's Cross, dressed up as a ladyboy, trying to raise enough money to buy a pot noodle, isn't he?
Don't you think it's crazy that... Do you understand the technology for us to hear the pilot? I am actually utilizing it right now. This is the technology for us to hear the pilot. I don't know why we cannot hear. There's no other context where it's acceptable for us not to hear a person. Why are you muffling? If you were looking for an au pair for your kids and a person came over to your house and said, hey man, what's your experience with kids? And then they looked at you and went, ta-da. Like, you need to get out of my house, son. Weird things happen in airplanes. Weird things, like crazy things, bizarre things. Like, how bizarre would it be right now if someone walked in here and started selling us watches and perfume? Would that be the most bizarre thing? But it happens all the time in airplanes. No one's ever gone, huh, this is crazy. This is that English polite thing. Oh, I've already got one, yeah. I'm not looking at the moment, yeah. Not every airline should be selling watches, though. Like Ryanair, no business selling watches. You need to watch Ryanair, your flight's 7 hours late. And also, why am I buying a 400-pound watch on an 11-pound flight? This makes no sense. Yeah, being in London is cool. I like being in London. One of my favorite things to be in London, there's so much to do. I try to buy a ticket online to watch Wimbledon. Yeah, man. The Wimbledon final, I was like, I'm excited. Went online, it was £3,000. I was like, what? £3,000. Okay, I'm not saying I wouldn't pay £3,000, right? I'm not saying I won't pay £3,000 for a Champions League finals ticket. But I'm not paying £3,000 for a sport where someone is going to tell me, quiet, please. Are you out of your mind? For £3,000, there will be no quiet, please. For £3,000, I'm rubbing my nipples center court. Are you out of your mind? My brother, 3,000. Oh, it's a lot of money. 3,000. My brother, £3,000. For £3,000, I should be able to whisper some advice in Roger Federer's ear. 3,000. I should be able to walk into the court. Sorry, Roger. Come on, forearm. Let's work on that. Come on. My brother, around 3,000. For 3,000, I should be able to punch a ball boy in the face. For 3,000. Could be walking across, picking up a ball up. Uppercut him in the nose. He'll be so confused. What was that for? I'm like, no, it's part of the package. If you look carefully, I can kick you in the balls.
I was such a fat kid. My mother used to buy bathing suits with blowholes in them. It was just... But my parents... I don't want to go into my childhood here because it's wrong. My parents hated me, okay? We're all going to hear the story. I don't mean my parents hated me too. My parents... All I ever heard growing up is, why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Sheila had died at birth. They just... hated me. whenever we would go like in front of a street, each parent would take my hand, hold our hand, we're crossing the street, and then they'd swing me into the traffic. They used to say, take candy from strangers. Ask the funny man in the raincoat, does he own a van? It's just... No, I had a very bad childhood, and that's because, and I'm sure none of you give a damn, but I was the only Jewish kid, this is the absolute truth, growing up in an all-Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's? The Irish people. Only Jewish kid in a Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's like? You were all doing Hail Marys, I was doing Hail Murrays. I mean, it was just... No Christmas tree? No Christmas tree. Do you know what that's like when you're the only kid without a Christmas? Because everybody has Christmas trees. And nowadays, it's like, well, we do it for all faiths. That's such bullshit. Yeah, we walk into an office building, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's a menorah. Bullshit. The Christmas tree goes up, 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 up. There's like a little shitty menorah with 2 orange lights that some angry Puerto Ricans lit backwards. I mean, yes. Juan, you lit those lights backwards. Fuck you, you killed our Lord. I mean, it is just... So, I'm at the age where I figure, screw it, I'm gonna have a Christmas tree. I got the biggest Christmas tree I got a 2-story high Christmas tree. I put everything you could think of on that. Up, 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 gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. On the bottom, I got the manger. I got the whole goddamn thing going there. The wise men, the sheep. And the only thing is, I have the baby, but I'm Jewish. I got him a nanny. It was just, oh yes. And I redressed Mary. She didn't look good. That stupid thing over her head, come on. I put her in a Chanel suit, Manolo Blahniks, and a Louis Vuitton pocketbook. You're the mother of God. Look it. It is just... Am I wrong? If she had looked like that, she would have gotten into the inn. Yes. The point is, it's about looks. Mary, she looked good. She would have done better. Mother Teresa... Oh, don't give me, Mother Teresa, if she had looked better, she'd be a saint by now. Was she a bow wow? Yes. Did she need electrolysis? Let's talk to each other here. Even lepers were throwing their fingers at her. Here, get away. Because it is all about looks. This is my message, Great Britain. This is my message. Looks count. Education, looks count. I have no sex appeal, and it has screwed me up for life. Peeping Toms look in my window, pull down the shade. You have no idea. My gynecologist examines me by telephone. It is just...
I was on holiday recently. I was on an all-inclusive. We all love an all-inclusive holiday, don't we? Oh, aye. Chips and gateau for breakfast. Yes. I always think it's amazing. I can always identify where people are from on an all-inclusive holiday. It's fascinating for me. Like, the Italians, you can always tell the Italians because they could put on a bag of rags and look amazing. Then you can see the Germans, and they're quiet, and they're reserved. And then there's us, the British. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we all want to become pals with each other. I've had a pen pal in Woking for 25 years that I met in Lanzarote. But it was a really, really interesting for me because there's a way I can always tell if someone is from the south of England on holiday. And it's I don't need to hear your accent, nothing. The way, number one, I will tell if you are from the south of England is it will be 9 o'clock at night. It's 28 degrees. The moon and the stars are out. And you come out wearing a wee jumper. Because it gets a bit chilly. It's 28 degrees. The moon's out. I'm Scottish. I'm like past the factor 50 hen. I do not trust the moon burn. Get me the factor 50. Then there's another way I can always tell someone is from the south of England. You and I are on an all-inclusive holiday. We can eat as much as we want. And they will go to the bar and they will order a half pint. No, you can't order a half pint in Scotland. Next time you visit Scotland, try and order a half pint. That is one of the most tense conversations you will ever have. About 3 months ago, I went to a bar in my home city of Glasgow, and I says to the barman, can I have 2 pints of lager and a half pint of lager? And he looked at me, and he went, what was that? I said, it's 2 He went, no, just the last one. I went, it's just a half pint of lager, mate. Hold on. Come here. Tell him. Just the last one. I went, it's just a half pint of lager. Is that for you? It's for my pal. Ah. Are they on antibiotics? Are they pregnant? Would they like a colouring book and crayons with that?